So I come in and do. How are you, sir?
I'm all right tonight. I'm still at work. I'm here on a freeway heading north.
Okay. I hope your signal stays with us. How do you see things at this point? Protecting tomorrow, the leader of opposition is supposed to make his big speech.
um,
How you see
the,
things shaping up?
the leader of opposition will be presenting his side of the story tomorrow from a collection of the Jamaica Labour Party's manifestos since 2002. As I was
Very nice.
reliably informed, I will say reliably because who informed me it's coming from the belly of the beast.
Uh-huh.
So I've been for a while and waiting to crack the code that the PMP has been using for the past 4 years. The JLP's manifestos dating back to 2002, I think 2007, all the way up to 2020. And they have been scrolling through the manifestos and finding those issues that the current government committed to. The JLP committed to 2007, the current government since 2016, which have not yet been completed, those projects, or which have not come to fruition yet. And to put forward actions, just changing a few words and a few headings on the issues and present them as their ideas. But if you were to dissect what Mark Golding has been presenting for the past few years, then you would realize that those points that he have been speaking on, they are coming from the JLP's past manifestos. And one of those programs which caused a little bit of controversy in our recent past, I think it was since last year, Mark Golding was trying to claim paternity for the student loan guarantor removal. When it was found out that in 2009, Andrew Holness as Education Minister and Bruce Golding as Prime Minister had posited this idea of removing guarantors, but that they would attempt to do it over a certain period of time as they strengthen the criteria or the criteriums for accessing the loans, or as the repayments come in and as the government was able to bolster the loan portfolio at the Student Loan Bureau. So when he posited that in 2023, he put it forward as if it was birthed from his mind, the bowels of his intelligence. But lo and behold, it was found out that it was a promise by the JLP in their 2007 campaign manifesto, and it was something that was discussed throughout that period. So tomorrow, I'll be looking for nothing less than Mark Golding plagiarizing JLP's past manifestos to put forward a position, because the PMP has been getting a battering for the past a year or so as it relates to what are their plans, what are you going to put forward. And because they didn't have a plan ready to present, their argument was they did not want to put forward a plan because the JLP would steal. Tomorrow, I'm expecting from Mark Golding a lot of electioneering. It will be a pitch to the PMP's base, and it will be a wholesale of suggestions trying to reach out to a broader spectrum of the voting population, but nothing serious. There won't be anything concrete. As Julian did a few days ago, you know, the only price tag he came up with was the 1 billion for TikTokers. But the other programs that he suggested were not costed, you know, and even though on the face of them, they sound good, but as we will be discussing them, you'll realize that it makes no sense for my grandfather, who is 70, who rented his home out and now have tenants. He still owns a property. The water was in his name up until maybe 2 years ago. And the reason why he decided to take the water out of his name, the account out of his name, was because the tenants ran up the water bill to over 100,000. And when you have a situation like that, he owns a property. So how are you going to identify the pensioner who should benefit from a flat rate? And what is that flat rate going to be? How much is it going to cost the NWC, which is now on the plus side, because the PMP ran it down to the ground and it was losing money? It was a burden on the budget. It is now on the plus side, earning its own revenue. So how are you going to, what are the criterias, you know? I remember Julian said when a question was thrown to him from across the floor about how determined, he said that he don't know yet, but they will work it out because different people have different consumption pattern. You know, so it is going to be much more of that coming from Mark Golding tomorrow as he presents his side of the story.
Okay, protecting. Let us take the ease program, for example, that Robinson is proposing. And I also would love to hear your view on the 321 education policy that the PNP is suggesting, that they would give a scholarship to one person in each family. They have been pushing this for over a couple of years. What do you think of it?
There are problems there, and people who really think discover can. But let us start with that proposal at the basic school level or the primary school level. We say one lunch to a child. When you take on VAS, consider VAS primary or VAS prep. I mean, how would you do this? Already, there are some calculations done, and I saw one calculation which is 22.5 billion.
Oh,
and that's just
20
for
what?
one. 22.5 billion, and that was just for one school year, 9 months.
For one meal?
For one meal. Because I think the calculation is that it's 400 and something thousand children at that level, students at that level. So just to consider that, I cannot validate the number, but it's just a calculation I came across because, you know, there was some analysis and discussion as it relates to, and it was a rough check. So let's use that $22.5 billion as a marker, right? How would you finance that? Will you reroute that 22.5 billion from the Spark program to fix roads over to that program? But really, how would you establish the criterion for that program? Because
sorry, protected the source of that information, because I see where the PSOJ is suggesting that it will cost the government $14 billion to give up the tax threshold increase.
Right. Now, I mean, again, I cannot confirm that that number
Yes.
is solid and valid, but it will be a few billion, because when I was doing the calculation based on the amount of students that are assumed to be at the primary level, when I calculate, it came close to that. And I mean, when I came across, I didn't complete the calculation because there are the factors to consider which I didn't get to. But the broader point though, neighbor, when you put the program as you conceptualize it to the people, it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you begin the discussion about the cost for these programs, then that's where you start to run into problems. Because what would you put on the back burner to facilitate
Something
a whole scale?
Something would have to give. Something would have to give.
Something would have to give if you were to consider a wholesale approach like this. Now, there are students at the primary and basic level who are registered on PATH who are already benefiting from the school feeding program.
Yes.
Now, because of how PATH is established and the demographic in society that PATH is supposed to reach, you already have established that the needy are already benefiting. So
because isn't social programs to be targeted toward those who need it?
Who need them, and that is
because I'm sure that there are many people, many children going to school today who don't need a lunch. Their parents are quite able to provide them
to afford
lunches.
It. Right. Now, how will you develop that criterion? What part of that number would you aim to capture? Will it be the entire student body at the primary level? Or would it just be those who are in need? But if you're going to say it is those who are in need, PATH already captures those who are in need. PATH is already a fully funded program, and recently, as last year, the benefits of PATH were increased by about 35%. You know, so yes. It is sort of a situation to consider. Who are you aiming to capture? Who are you aiming? Again, as I said before, the budget his presentation was presented as an electioneering speech. You throw some popular soundings out there, and then people say, yeah, man, that sound good. You know, but when you come down to the math
doesn't
really...
Doesn't it reflect poorly on the opposition, though, protecting that after 4 years in opposition, going into 5 years, they wouldn't have been able to cost out their policies? Because wouldn't it sound more authentic if Mr. Robinson was able to say, okay, this EASE program is going to cost this amount of money, and here's how we're going to fund it?
I don't believe that the opposition really focused on any policy. I remember Cliff Hughes saying some weeks ago, and we were discussing that before, the opposition was expecting to have Comrade Seymour Panton and the Integrity Commission help them to waz into power. They were expecting to highlight and trumpet some pain points that still exist in the society. They are referred to as misery indexes. And they were hoping to use these indices to appeal to that cross-section of the society who would then readily identify themselves with these issues at their level and say, yes, man, and jump on the PMP's bandwagon. They were not preparing any policy direction should in case they were voted into power. And that is the hallmark, that is the profile, the everlasting profile of the PMP. Michael Manley did it. PJ Patterson also did it. Portia Simpson Miller did it. They had no plans. Portia had no plans. Let me start with her. And so what they did when they were given the opportunity to lead, Omar Davies had to remove money off JLP, the Jamaica Infrastructure Development Program. And I always use the Palisades that rolled out by Palisades as an example. They had to
Yes.
remove the money off it and redirected that money to create what they refer to as Jeep. And when they presented Jeep, they didn't even have a structure for Jeep. It was after they came into power, Portia presented what Jeep was and what was Jeep. Everybody who lives so, you just come out, come cut the grass at the front of your yard, and you would be paid. Really? So what we have is a set of people. What we have are a set of people who they don't care much about the people, and they don't consider that the people really are watching, paying attention, and they should make efforts to at least come to the people with something substantial, so that as the people make up their minds about the direction they want their lives to go, then the people will probably consider them. PJ Patterson did it. He never had no plan. The worst constituency in Jamaica that gave PJ Patterson, returned him as Prime Minister 3 consecutive terms, is Eastern Westmoreland. He didn't care, not one road, no water, nothing at all. And Michael Manley did it. And Michael Manley was honest. He told the people, I have no plan. But if you trust me, we will work something out when we come in power.
Yes.
And we're seeing it again.
So really, where we are now, in the lead up to the elections, you are telling me that the PNP is just putting minds together to cost these things out. But by the way, listen to Mr. Robinson as he answers a question from a person on agriculture, and you'll figure out what part of the problem that the PNP is really facing at this time, because I think people are asking the right questions, and
so that
they're
they
going
can
to
be
have
more
to answer.
productive.
So
They know
somebody
what to
has
plant,
asked him
when to
about
plant, how to plant,
agriculture.
and they can
Listen to his
improve their
response.
yields. Let me break down what we plan to do to grow the agricultural industry. The first thing, we want to invest in research and development so that we can provide farmers with the tools, the techniques, so that they can be more productive. They'll know what to plant, when to plant, how to plant, and they can improve their yields. That's the first thing we're going to do with agriculture. The second thing, we're going to expand irrigation. Right now, only about 18% of all agricultural lands in Jamaica have access to irrigation. What we're going to do is ensure that small farmers can have access to irrigation. Why is that important? If you have access to irrigation, you can farm for the entire year. Right now, farmers have to depend on rain. And if rain don't fall, then can't grow them crops. And then the third thing we're going to do, we're going to improve the access to funding, because you need money to buy the equipment and the tools to farm better. But it's very difficult now for farmers to access funding. So we're going to do those three things. And you know why we're doing this? We're doing this so that we can grow what we eat and eat what we grow. We're doing this so we can reduce the foreign exchange that we spend importing food into the country. We're doing this so that the children who are going to school, that we're going to provide that one meal per day, it can be Jamaican food that they're eating and not imported food. We're committed to helping our farmers, and we're going to grow our economy by growing agriculture.
Protecting?
All political talk, neighbor.
But that no make no sense. Hold on. That makes absolutely no sense. One, you're going to research and development. You're going to expand irrigation. You're going to improve access to funding. That is how you're going to transform agriculture, Mr. Robinson.
But neighbor,
these are generalities that really. So the farmer down in St. Elizabeth tonight, when you say this to him, what does he make out of that?
Neighbor, bust a man to use those words. It's all political talk. And that's what I said to you. But guess what? Better yet, As I told you, the PMP are using the JLP's old manifestos. That is in almost every JLP manifesto. Irrigation for agriculture. The Essex Valley program, which should be, the ground should be broken this financial year coming up to start the project. What the PMP are doing, they're smart, We can't take that from them. What they do, they highlight the projects that the government promised in their manifesto and the projects which are already on their way. Some of those projects won't be completed until next year. Some won't be completed until 2027, 2028. So what they're hoping is they put in this political argument out there for people to support them. And then, if you support them, and should in case they win, 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road, then go open an irrigation project and say, see, we promised you. And so we bring it to fruition. And that is where, again, as you know, me always a lick the JLP. That is where me lick them again. Because there's no way whatsoever you should be taking on these projects and you don't have a public information campaign continuously in the society. Farmer have them little radio where they go bush with. At least the farmer would a year. Farmer not there daytime they on TikTok. Them in a bush a chop and a dig and a plant.
Yes.
But them have them little radio. So if these things are out there and you have a public broadcast kind of system, they will hear what's happening, And them will know. But when you have a situation now where the citizenry don't know what the government is doing, the opposition study the government manifesto and look through the ministries and see the programs that are currently ongoing, and they are pandering to the people who they want to support them. And the question is, if it should be that they are voted in, what we're going to have is a situation where them come, after these programs are completed, them come open them, cut ribbon, and say, we promise you. And see in 2 years we deliver it. Who can say none of them do it? The government ain't tell nobody say them I do nothing.
Yeah. Here is
the PMP are the real copycats.
On the student loan thing. Here is the
We're going to extend the moratorium period for 6 months, so that when you get the job you want, you can start to pay. And we're going to implement a system where we tie your repayment to your income, so that if you're paying $50,000, but you can only afford 20, the 20 is sufficient. With no delinquency, mash up your credit score, and you can't get the loan that you want to buy the car or the house that you want. The PMP have a plan for you, young people, and after you leave university, to pay off the student loan. So what we're going to do, we're going to extend the moratorium period for 6 months, so that when you get the job you want, you can start to pay. And we're going to implement a system where we tie your repayment to your income, so that if you're paying $50,000, but you can only afford 20, the 20 is sufficient, and you won't be put in delinquency. Because with no delinquency, mash up your credit score, and you can't get the loan that you want to buy the car or the house that you want. The PMP have a plan for you, young people. Time come.
How is that different from what the government is doing? Protecting? Hello. All right. Protecting is on a little.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. How is that different?
It's not different. There's no difference there. It's just a difference in word and a difference in approach, but it's the same thing. Because look at it this way. You're going to extend the moratorium for 6 months, right? You're going to extend the period for 6 months. That's at the beginning.
That means that when you leave university,
right,
you will have 6 months before you are required to pay.
You start to pay, right? So that's at the beginning of the loan. But with the government extending the repayment period, what that does.
Hold on, protecting. Isn't the economy now creating sufficient jobs that it is not likely that you're going to leave university and don't get a job for 6 months?
Yeah, but they know that. There's nobody leaving university. There's nobody leaving university now and can't get a job. They know that.
So why would you need a moratorium for 6 months?
Because they just want to put something on the table, which is the same thing that the government has done. A matter of fact, the moratorium argument was also in one of the JLP's manifesto. But what the JLP has done, so basically, as I was saying a few days ago while we were on, that the PMP had to change their, Julian had to change his presentation, Mark Golding is currently, maybe incomplete it now, but they had to go back and change their presentation, because when we realized that they were looking through the JLP's manifesto to present on some of the issues, Anti-Faval covered over 21 of the different things that could be deemed as issues in the system and how the government is going to approach dealing with them. And this is one of them. Extended favor. What did the government present last Tuesday? Extending the repayment period. What will happen when you extend the repayment period? In the extension of the repayment period, you also lessen the repayment amount.
Yes.
You reduce the amount, because you extend the period. So that in itself is an effective tool without changing any other aspect of the entire contract.
Well,
but
to
also,
me, it's actually a better plan.
It's a better plan. So after Faval presented that, Julian had to go back to recraft what they wanted to present. And that's why I'm ending up with this foolishness. Now, what else did Julian offer? Him never offer nothing. Because also they have been harping on the JLP's manifesto for quite a while as it relates to adding other elements to the loan. But Faval cover that and block him out of the game.
Yeah, but it's almost as if the only thing we could do better protecting is to just tell them say they don't have to pay anything at all.
Simple. Don't pay nothing at all. That is it.
No,
Because
but hold on. If you get a loan to go study, and we are extending this loan by 10 years, we are reducing interest rates and all of that. Everything is being done to facilitate these students.
Yep. You're extending it by 10 years, but you're also giving them housing, a meal stipend.
And as I said earlier, gone are the days, sir, when you leave university and can't get a job in Jamaica.
And can't find a job.
There was a time when
most of who go in university now, 18, 19, they're working while they're going to university. A lot of them.
And some of them are online, yeah.
A lot of them working while they're going to school. So I don't know which Jamaica is the PMP thinking about, because that Jamaica don't exist no more. That Jamaica existed under PJ Patterson and Portia Simpson Miller and Michael Manley. That Jamaica surely don't exist any longer.
And isn't this the challenge that the party faces protecting? That somehow they have lost touch with the realities of Jamaica. In that Jamaica has moved ahead.
They have not lost touch. They are yet to begin to feel the new Jamaica, because they didn't have that touch. So you can't lose what you never have.
Oh.
They didn't have that kind of touch, the progressive touch, the touch where the society advances so well that you no longer need to even refer to the citizenry as poor.
But then this is very important, protecting, because this is how you are going to formulate policies. You have to formulate policies for a Jamaica that has progressed. So when you're going to speak about giving a 6-month moratorium because you can't get a job, that is not in the Jamaica of today.
It's not in the current Jamaican context. I mean, the next stupidness that I heard over the weekend from the PMP was Damien Crawford. He has been battering on this idea for a while.
Yes, let us talk about that a little bit. Let us talk about it a little bit. This 3-2-1, I think they call it, that at least one member of each family should attend university or get a degree. And that would be a scholarship. But how many households in Jamaica have a child that even qualifies for this scholarship?
It doesn't matter. It's just a nonsensical kind of scenario, because guess what? If there is no hindrance and there is complete access now to funding for education,
there you go again, protect.
Why would you encourage?
The Jamaica has moved on in that right now the government has taken away every
obstacle. Government has taken away every obstacle.
Correct. So it's now left to the ability of the child.
Okay. Simple. That's
In
it.
other words, every striking child in Jamaica has a scholarship from the government.
All right, look at it this way. If the university, let's take it from the standpoint of the university. If the university has a criteria that you have to meet, where you have to have English, maths, and maybe 4 other subjects or whatever to enter, how do you get around that? Because that would be the only hindrance now in that student's way.
Not
if they cannot meet the criteria for the school.
Not finances.
Not finances.
So no child in Jamaica no need no scholarship to go to university.
Again, it is the old PMP trick, because remember, you know, a lot of people don't even realize that this is what the PMP has used to control the country for many years. They used to go, Michael Manley started it, they go into communities that they want the support for the party. And what them do? Every segment of the community, they pick out one out of every yard. So them choose a yard, them we have no vote. They used to do it in Central Kingston where Michael Manley was. And they said start. So you know, so the tenement yard, them have all 50 somebody, 100 somebody, right? They pick out one out of every yard and say them help the one day. And the one they need to help everybody else. And then when election come now, the whole 100 another yard they vote. So it was a sort of tactical electioneering move, you know. But what happened is that when you send that child, when the PMP help that child to go to university for life, you know. Because the people they have to serve the PMP. And that is the same thing that happened with Cliff Hughes.
But
the moment Cliff Hughes, the moment Cliff Hughes, who was once Michael Manley right hand, decided that he was not going to serve his poverty any longer, they turned against him. They turned against him. And I'm using that case because he's somebody who is popular. Somebody who, you know, on a national scale, a broader scale.
So
the moment you decide.
No child in Jamaica, hold on, no child in Jamaica really needs a political party to give them a scholarship to go to university.
And that is what
this is the type of clientism politics that we have been trying to move away. To say, allow the institution to create the avenues by which people pursue their dreams.
Right. They're trying again. They're trying once more. Their last effort. They're trying again to sort of repersonalize the politics, the clientism kind of situation, where it is the MP that help you. So you have to vote for that party there.
Open this up a little for the people listening to understand protecting, because it only sounds nice, but it is full of
crap,
nonsense,
full of shit.
You know?
It is full of shit. It only sounds good on the face of it. It sounds good on the face of it, but the moment you begin to dissect it, yeah man, I want crab neighbor. It's a crab, it's full of shit. The moment you begin to dissect it is the moment you realize it's not realistic. It's a pie in the sky kind of scenario.
You know, so I spent quite a bit of time doing a little bit of writing on it. And I was going to send it to one of the papers, but I said to myself, you know what, I'm not even going to waste time. It is a nonsensical proposal.
Yes.
You hear me?
Because you have a yard, one and a neighbor. You have a family with 4 children.
Yes.
The 4 of them, say for example, them finish high school. Or you have 3 finish high school. And the 3 who finish high school, they have dreams of going to college and doing what they need to do.
Yes.
So the 3, one at 17, one at 18, and one at 20. Who do you choose? Because if you choose one who is 17, that one spent 4 years into college, because the idea is that when they done, they help somebody else. So that one, if you spend 4 years in college, so by the time that one they done college at 17, the one we are 20 at 24, and the one we are 18 at 22, and then now that one decide to help the one we are 22. So by you done the one we are 22, the next one at 28, and probably just change their mind. because life just happened. You see, it is foolish that those 4 children of that family can walk into the student loan bureau, and if they performed in high school and meet the criteria for college, the
All
4
4.
pitney them
All
can go
4.
get the loan and go to college.
All 4 can go to university, sir.
Okay, simple.
And hold on the foresight. Protecting. Not only can all 4 go to university, but this year the government is offering housing,
okay,
and meals,
okay,
and books and laptop. So
okay.
when Damien goes up on a platform and spout this, why is it that so far we have not heard it being rubbished by the party?
I don't know why the party don't just jump on these things. I don't know what they're waiting for, because the longer they make these things,
the face of it, protecting it, it sounds nice.
So
but
nice.
As you said earlier, it is a load of
Yeah, man, it's a load of doodle. A load of doodle, neighbor. Nothing more than a load of doodle. That's what it is.
No. Hold on. I want you to go back over it again, sir. Because I think this I've never heard it in this way. The fact of the matter, protecting, is that every Jamaican student who qualifies for university today can attend without
access their education
worrying
now.
about how he or she is going to pay for it, because the government has made that possible.
Simple. And
what barriers are there though to prevent everyone, right, in a household from acquiring a degree?
Okay, none. That's where we started. There's no barrier.
So what problem are we solving with that proposal? What problem is Damien attempting to solve with that kind of proposal?
We're just solving egg
But
dread.
foresight, why hasn't this been dismissed long time as nonsense?
Maybe because I'm hoping that the Prime Minister will speak to that in his presentation.
I've been saying this for the last 2 years, that this is a flagship education policy of the opposition, that they are going to pay for 1 student in each family to attend university. Isn't this clientism, foresight?
Yep.
Of course it is. And they're trying to bring back the old kind of politics where they'll be able to say, here's a PNP, make me go school, and a PNP this and a PNP that. That's the kind of old politics that they're trying to build back. It's not for Jamaica. It's for just having a policy that is linked to the party, right? So that it's not about having a system in place from which all Jamaicans can benefit, right? It's having a policy that comes from PNP that people will later look at and say, okay.
We'll go on. Hold on the foresight. We're going to go and keep the conversation. Give me about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
go on discuss. Yeah.
So foresight, this idea that Jamaicans are to get scholarship from government in order to go to university, that them days they must be over.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and we should take education out of politics completely.
Completely. What you need is national policies, not PNP
right.
policies.
So for example, foresight, if you have 3 children in your house, and they all go to good high schools, they work hard, and it's now time for them to advance themselves into university. Which one of the 3 are you going to choose to take up the scholarship?
I don't know. I can't answer that, neighbor, because I can't answer that, neighbor.
Yeah.
Trust me. Because I think that any parent would want all 3 of your kids to be able to acquire a degree, right? And to access tertiary education.
That is possible in today's Jamaica. That is possible.
Right.
It is possible. And then these students accepting their loans do not feel beholden to any political
aim is to score political points.
Sorry, protecting. Repeat that.
No, you heard me? They said
No.
their whole aim is to come up with policies to score political points.
Yeah, well, I can't see this as being this hasn't been thought out well at all. But you know, one of the things it points to is a disconnect. It's a disconnect, and I continue to see that coming out. That there's a disconnect in the society with the way the PNP is putting forward their policies. There is a disconnect because I don't see how government has made access to education and to university education, you know, where it is, and you would still be holding on to giving scholarship, you know.
Well, just excuse me, neighbor. I'm driving at the same time, so that's why I might be sounding a little bit I don't know, you know. But
Right.
you can go ahead and talk. I'm listening.
Yes. The other thing is that the PNP has come out with an ease program that they claim is going to be offering one meal per one meal per day to students that are in school, so that the students can learn. But is not the PATH program designed to address this very issue? Why would you create an additional bureaucracy around a meal? Can't it also? Let me hear your contribution on the whole education policy of the PNP of, you know, giving scholarship to one student per household. Is this just
On the
not?
face of it?
Huh?
On the face of it, at first, I couldn't find a problem with it. But after listening to you, Foresight and Protecting, break it down, if there really are no barriers, olden days, and it really don't make no sense. And it also highlights to me now why they're so hesitant, why they were so hesitant to show their manifesto early, because
Yes.
it's not anything innovative, it's not groundbreaking, it's not.
Let us
can't-
cause our listeners to understand
Yeah.
where it stands now. Here is the difference. The government has made access to tertiary education very, very easy by
Right.
removing guarantors.
Once you have the grades.
Once all you need to do is to go to school and work hard. You
Right.
have the grades, you qualify, you go to the Students' Loan Bureau,
Mhm.
you're going to get your loan.
And that's a huge
They-
thing without the guarantor, because my wife had
It
issues with that.
is so, because in my day, for example, who would have guaranteed a loan for me? It was impossible, you know.
Mhm.
So that level of education was reserved for the rich,
Mhm.
right? Not to mention the cost would be prohibitive. But today, any boy, any girl from the country, from a poor family,
Mhm.
studies hard, can go to the student loan bureau and access a loan. What the opposition is suggesting is that no, you don't need to do that. We can pay for it. Not the PNP, you know, but the government is going to pay, give you a scholarship for that. And I think that smacks politics, you know, sir.
Yes.
Because I think it's a type of clientism politics that we ought to be moving away from. Because you don't want students to feel at the end of their studies that, you know, it was the PNP that did this for me. You know?
Right.
You want students. There's nothing wrong if you access a loan to study, you know, Canty Dawson, and at the end of the loan you are able to pay it back. We access loans to buy cars and homes and all type of things. What's wrong in accessing a loan to improve yourself?
Yes, you're right. You're right. Within the confines of this argument, is true. They're not offering anything new. And
Yes.
honestly, I think their intention really is to curry favor with this a young crop of voters, just turning university / voting age. So they're trying to give them some impetus to lean towards the other side. And I don't know if that's going to be very effective either, because that's the demographic that vote the least, that do not show up to the polls.
Yes.
I couldn't consider it effective at all.
Quite so. All right. And then the other thing that we have here queued up is the $1 billion that Mr. Robinson has provided some additional explanation on. Take a listen yes, take a listen and then we can talk about that as we wait for the other guys to join. Here it
Fund is for the entire creative industry. If you're a musician, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a potter, if you're a painter, if you're setting up a business to create spaces that people can have sessions in, this fund is here for you. So don't watch the space, don't follow misinformation. We cater to every single person. So once we set this up, we'll outline the criteria, how you apply, where you apply. We are committed to building the entire creative industry because this is what has put Jamaica on the map. This is what Jamaica is famous for. And we want Jamaica to be famous for not just Bob Marley, but there are so many talented people. This fund is the opportunity for you. Another fund. And I just want to provide some clarity because there's some misconception that is one set of people who are doing. This fund is for the entire creative industry. If you're a musician, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a potter, if you're a painter, if you're setting up a business to create spaces that people can have sessions in, this fund is here for you. So don't watch the space, don't follow misinformation. We cater to every single person. So once we set this up, we'll outline the criteria, how you apply, where you apply. We are committed to building the entire creative industry because this is what has put Jamaica on the map. This is what Jamaica is famous for. And we want Jamaica to be famous for not just Bob Marley, but
so County Dawson.
Why? It's better. It's better.
No, the music was in the tape. So when we set this up, and something that has been even
well thought out yet.
Thought out yet.
It reeks of laziness to me. Reeks of laziness.
Still a work in progress.
Because at this point it seems to catch everybody, and if you're catching everybody,
but I don't think Mr. Robinson is listening to what he's saying. Mr. Robinson is saying that we don't really know how this is going to set up yet, But when we set it up,
yeah.
Mark Golden gave him a speech and he read it. Bear bull crap from the ass. That's what it is. Nothing else.
Yeah.
The government already, through Nigel Clark, launched a screen fund. And there's a component of it for the creatives. The government already launched a insurance scheme for all the creative and a fund that the creatives can access money to get their tools and to get their things on. And Babsy made sure to highlight those who record music and those who are artists who draw, potters, and all them people. Again, as I said before, the PMP, they are playing from the JLP's old manifesto. Neighbor, remember me said to you at the beginning, you know, start see it. Listen to their argument. Is the JLP argument them I use? He don't even know what they're going to do and how they're going to set it up. Him should have just shut him out as Cantidos and say, because him already make a fool of himself. Him already made a fool of himself. They're establishing a fund for the TikTokers because them owe them. I presented a video on YouTube on the same thing. Where one PMP tell me say one TikToker is owed $3 million. $3 million they owe one TikToker.
How come?
Oh?
Uh-huh.
You have to ask them. Them now have them out there dip on their prime minister wife skirt. And the prime minister knows big now that they hire them for. Remember them hire the TikToker, them and pay them $250,000 a week, you know.
Oh?
When they can't pay them, a lot of them drop arms span them and decide that them not doing anymore. So it's a beacon call, it's a trumpet sound to them. Say, all right, get back to working. You know, see how they're active again. Looking at the space. All him a try to clean it up because him realized that the country a bash him over this nonsense. $1 billion was already secured for screen, as a screen fund. Never before in Jamaica. You have artists, performers, potters, sculptures, have insurance. I remember when I worked in government, I always tell you I was very close to the politics. Me see big artists we have hits back a hits dead. And then couldn't bury them. And a Babsy Grange, I have to bury them out of government money. Let us be real. The PMP don't like people. And if you notice most of these artists, them follow back at PMP. Them love the poverty. Them not have no plan. None of them no plan estate. A lot of them, you see, after a famous one, them start dead, one back at the other, drop down like a fly. Some of them run go start plan estate. Remember one artist dead, big artist too, international reggae artist. And after him dead in picnic, them from all boats start come. When they realize that they have no will. When they realize that they have nothing to go up and will. But in travel the world, play some of the biggest carnivals and shows worldwide. This government is the government. Well, look out for people. The PMP have no plan. Them not have no idea. Them not have nothing. And I believe that their arguments need to be attacked from party central. Neighbor, you know me upon that already. Me always depend that.
Well, I am agreeing with you because I don't see how you see how we are picking apart this argument here and exposing it. Canty Dawson just said, you know, that he thought that Crawford's proposal was a brilliant one. But when he listened to us this evening, he realized that it was foolishness.
Nonsense.
You see what I'm saying to you? Why has Morgan, Robert Morgan, the Abka Fitzhenley, haven't they heard it, man?
You show up at my yard. Me have two sisters. You show up at my yard. What you gonna do? Any mini mind I'm off decide which one I will go to college? Eh? Me have two sisters. You go any mini mind more. What kind of nonsense that? Any mini mind more. Where you gonna stop? Catch a puppy by into?
And it sends the wrong message to protecting, because what it, it promotes an idea that you need to prioritize now, right? Which one of your kids them now you must select for a scholarship for because currently, you know, exactly, currently, right? Any household, any parent in any household, right, is thinking of sending their kids to college. All of the kids, not one, not two. Now, when you narrow down to talk about pick one, right? One out of every household, right? It puts in mind now the idea that, so, okay, we can prioritize one, and you don't really want to encourage that. You don't really want to even start, you know, I mean, you don't even want to kind of promote that kind of thinking, because what really happened now, you have to understand how the mind works, you know, right? Even though currently, right, you have parents who might say, okay, let me see how I can get all my kids in school. The minute you go talk about scholarship for one, you know, they're going to start thinking about one over the other. And that's where we are coming from. You remember those days when first time parents who couldn't afford to send all them kids to school, sometimes just the big brother go to school or the big sister. And the same thing now you do with college, you know. The big sister or the big brother go college. Right? And enough of them families there, you know, in the past, you know, you have some time, you know, and just the big brother get the education, you know. And then the big brother now take care of the little one them. The other siblings, the younger siblings. You understand what I'm saying? So you bring back Jamaica now to that when it comes down to college education or tertiary education. Go ahead.
Whatever him said sounds, you know, let me tell you a problem I have with it. If it's a one per household, right? Obviously, you have to make the entire Jamaican household, every household have pure bright people in there. So it can't be one per household. Because what if some of those kids are just not bright, or them are end up college? What he should emphasize on, those who are not bright, let's offer them trainings like what our trust NTA is doing. Not everybody can go to college. So what he's basically saying is sweet mode talk, because you have enough people that know that trade sometimes pay far than some people going to college. What he should emphasize on the model that Singapore did. Not everybody went to college in Singapore. Some went to training institution, right? And all of that. I would prefer that model along with having students.
Yeah, because you can determine which household are eligible, because you see, that is it. I believe in solving the problem from the root cause. You solve the root cause of a problem. And the root cause is that we need to change the education system, which Andrew spoke about, right? He has spoken about that, right? And the STEM school idea is also a good idea. Those are the things that we need to think about when we are thinking about improving education.
But
because if you don't fix that problem, you won't find eligible people to send to college. You have to fix the root cause. People have to first be qualified and educated before you can start about college. You can't talk about college when you don't fix
Yes.
You don't fix the problem.
Let me get
That
analogy.
creates illiteracy and all those things.
Hold
So you reach college already.
Let me get analogy about me. You see the qualification that I have? You see the qualification? Let me finish that name. I'm not cut you. See the qualification that I have? I never went to no university. But that thing I call ACC, Association of Chartered Certified Accountant. That is a British qualification. When I finish level 2, I could get a bachelor's degree from Oxford University. I never bother with it. I can't do my master to London University right now through the program. I'm a chartered accountant. What I'm simply explaining, for me, college is one thing, but to have proper training, like a skill that can take you forward, because you have even the maritime industry where we need engineers, right? But I give some example. We need a lot. You know, the government talks we lack engineers and so forth. We lack tradesmen. A lot of those things can put forward. Not saying what Damon Crawford is saying won't make sense, you know. But for me, knowledge base is just more than just going to college alone. We have other things that we need to care about. We don't have a lot of skilled people doing certain things. We have to be importing labor from China to do some of those big infrastructure development. We should train our own people. And that's what I think China is also doing.
Dominant, you have a solution.
Yeah?
Or you have a solution for improve access to tertiary education before coming up with a solution for improving literacy.
So yeah, all right. You see, that's one thing I said. It can take time to weigh my talk. So to bring this promise like that, it can take day one. It now gonna work out for day one. Reason being, because as I explained, you have some community now also. Not everybody in there are gonna be right. Not every one of them are gonna be in there right. So if you say one per household, you have to quantify what he's basically saying, right? You have to basically quantify what he's saying. You said if you come and say straight.
Here is a question I want to ask you, Dominant.
Yeah.
Why are you offering a scholarship when access is universal? The government has made access to the university quite easy. Once you
10 years. 10 years on student loan. 10 years on student loan. Lower interest rate, right? Which is a longer time to pay.
So why are you still offering a government scholarship if access is available?
And which part of government are going to pay for the scholarship?
Yes.
Student loan to pay for the scholarship.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say he must quantify.
No. All him need to do Dominant one is shut him out. You don't need to quantify nothing. Be a nonsense.
No, I'm not saying this is what I'm saying. See, me as a person, it's your numbers me deal with. When people are coming and talk certain things about the 5 E's and all of that, you must explain what the 5 E's are and how you're gonna fund it. Right? To come and say things, I don't know where the fund is gonna come from. I don't know how you're gonna quantify. Because what I'm simply explaining that a lot of first world countries, not every somebody from a household go to college. Some of them go learn trade.
Right.
Trade far more money. what we should do is try to diversify the career spectrum in Jamaica in various ways that are meaningful.
Makes
So
sense.
when I say everyone from our household should go to college, right? It's like you gotta expand the university then. You gotta expand it then. Because you're gonna need more classroom. You're gonna need more lecturers. You understand what I'm saying to you? So those things should also be taught out when he's speaking. So want him quantify, not just saying you put them in. Because if you do all of that, what you say you're gonna do, how much of them are gonna make it? Because how much from certain household are gonna be educated enough to go to college? If you start from the grassroots, that's where you guys are talking, and that's gonna take a bit of time to reach up there. So what he's saying is just giving sweets, and they're saying sweet things, and it's not adding up. Because for one, let's say everybody from a household, from every household, somebody can go to college now. Look at it. You're gonna need more lecturers. You have to talk how you're gonna pay. You're gonna need more classrooms. You're gonna need. You understand what I'm saying? So I want him quantify.
In other words,
So that is showing us
would this add to the system?
Yeah,
that
how
is
much
proving to
classrooms,
us.
how much more lecturers you're gonna need. Can you
It is
prepare everybody?
proving to us that they had no intention for the discussion to go into the nitty-gritty. And,
Yes,
and that
it's
is
just
where we
sweet
need to always go back to. It is just sweet words to the electorate pondering for votes. That's all it is.
I saw me have to correct one a while ago, you know, where one time, you know, when I had him, because I used to love numbers and I love mathematics, and so one time I see him sing one song about mathematics and so and subtract and divide and whatever. And you probably know what me at all. Him come on pan a live and I say $72,000 can't buy a car. But it's not $72,000, you know, it's $144,000. And I can do the math now. The math I'll show you right now. Because the first year is 24,000, the second year is 48, so 48 plus 24 is 72, because I go by 4. I go by 2 each year. And then the third year, it'll be 12 times 6 is 72. We add 72 and 72 is 144,000. That can be the deposit for a poor back with a little additional more money. But maybe favor with when Tina was asking the question, because remember she has a lot of things on her head, you know. She have the wage bill for sort out for public sector workers. Some own don't believe so them come up to the level yet in terms of the pay scale, and I try to match with other agencies, because I know of those cases that are happening. So when people are run with things, them should also get a calculator and do the calculation. What I hate about Jamaicans, I'm going to tell you the point. You say, come on to numbers, some people not like take a calculator and calculate and look and stop follow we are here on news. Do your own calculation sometimes. You have a critical mind of thinking if you do have that. 144,000. You guys just check with me and say the first year is 24, the second year will be 48, 48 plus 24 is 72. The third year it will be 72,000. 72,000 times 72,000, $144,000. You understand me? And that's what was put forward. That every year an additional 2 years are put on each month. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So 144,000 work out to. You see, let me tell you.
I understand what you're saying, but there are people who won't move from the 1.8, because if you're earning 1.8, say April you're going to move to 1.8 million. No, I'm just saying some people will move to 1.8 and they're not going to move up to say 1 point anything like.
Yeah, but listen.
Say they're at 1.6 now, and then the next 2 years they might go to 1.8.
Yeah, but listen, Philippian, I'm telling you.
Not everybody is going to go. Let me use me for example. So my salary exceed the 2.2 million, right? So, I am going to benefit all the 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I'm put it this way. Yeah, some people get 1.6 now. Within the next 3 years, it's not going to be 1.6, because practically every year, some companies raise people pay and bring up to a certain scale. So some of them will also even go up and even benefit even more. But I understand when people now reach a threshold level, some of them now going to benefit from that. You understand me? But I'm saying when people are saying if they use the figure that they are using, it's additional 2,000. That's what they said, right? I'm using that to say come to 144,000. So that's what the figure they are using and calculating and saying is 72,000 over the 3 years. So me I use the figure that they are using. You understand me, Philippian? That's what I'm using.
And I mean, you see, the discussion will continue. And as I said before, there's a favor I'll make some attempt last night to say something else about it, that it's just the idea of saving. It was nothing about just no probacks. But she will have to, in a substantial way, address it further. But you're right in a dominant one. Because guess what? When the system is diversified, which is what the government is trying to do now, the government of the Amber Group in Jamaica, I try code out the whole place. You have pick and learn coding, and you have those in high school and even who just done high school. And them already do well. You have the art trust programs which have been bolstered and fully funded by the government. And they have introduced some new trades, like all the underwater welding, all them sitting there, which me wouldn't do. And all them stuff. So things are happening. We have the Caribbean Maritime University, where if I over there say you want to go turn seafarer. And we have the regular universities. We have the regular universities that cover the regular courses already. But you want me to tell you something, as you say a while ago, dominant one. Just to make the panel know, my plumber earn much more than what me earn. My plumber. And female education never passed high school. Okay? My plumber, I remember one at the time when I was involved in construction. Me I get one big job, $2 million, you know. Me said to the plumber, say, Jerome, me I want you to come and work with me, you know. Because me have a project here, so, and you know, say, according to what you have to do, you are going to make a considerable amount of money, a few million.
Yes.
You know what Jerome turned to me and say? Him said, no, me can't deal with that, you know. Me can't do that because the program when I work with, when me do client visit, me can't make that in a 3 weeks. Me can't make any much millionaire talk in a 3 weeks because if I'm always on call, me see over 100 clients per week, and you know make no sense. Say, okay, I'm upon a job, go tie me down for a couple months. Me say what? So this clamoring with even the PMP still trying to trick people. Everybody has dominant one say, everybody now go to university. Everybody don't want to go to university. My mother wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor. I'm tell her no.
Yes.
You know? So the broader discussion that the PMP should be coming with is probably how to capitalize the system and expand the system and diversify the system.
Yes.
But this goat pen business that the Rasta come with about one somebody from a family guy university, a nonsense, and you don't need to, again, dominant one say again, where the numbers, how are you going to fund this? Where the money are come from? Are you going to take the money from student loan, which is already fully funded, to give somebody a scholarship when somebody could have just walk go in a student loan, go get the blinking loan? What are you going to do? And then 2 on the road, here's the student loan and no money now, because then give away one somebody per household a scholarship. Now there's no money to fund student loan for the people them who want the loan can't get it. It is just nonsensical. Bullshit. That's what it is.
But look how many scholarships are already available.
I was just about to say that.
In the STEM area. You have 1,000 scholarship being offered in the STEM area at MICA, 1,200 by the government now at UTech. So if you're in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics area, you can get your degree free, fully paid by the government.
That's so right. It could easily just increase the amount of scholarships available.
Exactly, and then you have the $2.5 billion scholarship available right now, where they pay up to $1 million per year.
Neighbor said it
for the
earlier.
next 5 years.
5 years. Neighbor said it earlier, I know.
Plus, there's $550 million at the Ministry of Education in scholarship.
In scholarships, the Ministry of Finance also have scholarships.
Exactly. To Cuba, Russia, India, so many different countries. The Marcus Garvey graduate scholarship is available, fully funded, paid for, everything. Even your
Okay.
your housing is paid for, your food, everything. It's a fully paid scholarship by the government, and that's a graduate scholarship. So I don't understand. You have access to so much
Maybe
right now.
maybe somebody
See,
need to get a bull arm and go 89 Old Hope Road and shout it on the top of their lungs to the PMP. Change or die. If you resist change, yeah.
you see, my thing is, I'm gonna explain certain things. Not saying it can't be done, but we have to cut down the debt further and further, so we can do some of the very things that Damien Crawford are talk about. But him now gonna cut down no debt. Okay, you know why? Him gonna tax. When him say him never tax again, put on
GCT.
Yeah, for education and that go push up inflation, so interest rate are gonna go up. And then you know that going mortgage rate and so put the economy in the back in a one serious depression or near to recession status. So them don't know how to manage. What I have known about the People's National Party, them love use experiment. Whatever them think of, them do it. Them don't analyze before them implement nothing. And it happened all over the years.
Beautiful speaking.
Yeah. And when it started is when them beat Edward Siaga. I'm tired to talk this. When they go free up the dollar, and when they then Governor Bank of Jamaica at the time tell them say you can't do that because we don't have enough reserve. And when them do it, them never have enough, and then the short supply, the dollar start raise up, then inflation start hit us. When inflation start hit us, we use and control inflation. And interest rate, I saw it go up. Peer experiment, whatever them think about, them just implement, and I saw it work. You ever go to your technocrats? You understand me? And enough time them don't go to know technocrats. Them just sitting amongst themselves as people. And
Systematically, them always are run with it.
Yes.
Everything with them do are run with it. And then afterwards, when it need to be corrected, the technocrats them have to buckle with it.
Buckle with it. That's all them know to do. Because I'm saying it's a grand idea. But remember, if you have more people going to colleges, as you put it, how much of them from certain households can make it? You have some households now go bright enough, even send one of them child, okay, you have to fix that first. And that's what you have to fix before you talk about this. So bring on the debt so you can afford it. And that's what you have to talk about.
Yes.
And that's enough to say now go to bring on the debt so you can afford it. That's what I want here. You understand? Talk about expanding the Archers NTA. Or you can get more communities so people can become plumbers, carpenters. Because carpenters are sharp now, we know, I can tell you, you know.
Yes,
plumbers
sir.
sharp now, we know.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's sharp, bad. And money is in it. So them need to diversify the way of thinking in terms of the career path.
They have no plans, and for the past few weeks they have been pressured to put a plan out there by even their people on their side who are now analysts have been pressuring them. Put some plans out there. So all of a sudden them come up with some experimental situation like you all away elaborate. But when I buy it, I will see right through it.
You see me, sometimes I wish I could have got on a Dean Jackson Miller program and ask her some questions. Because I know I can't tire up. I don't know about a law, I don't know about the constitution and all them stuff there. You hear some of them programs, I wish I could have got on it. You hear? Because some of them not understand certain way. Is it true me working on the financial sector for one? I understand a lot about investment. Is it true?
Hold on. Stick up in. What you say? Them not understand?
Them, enough of them where you see, me I'll be honest with you. We
Bro,
talk about calculation, how to calculate income tax.
Understand. You have to understand the bigger picture here. You need to understand the bigger picture. They
Jackson Miller don't understand tax calculation. She's a liar. That
she need to understand tax calculation. She know the explanation. Her interest is not to qualify the understanding of people. Her interest is to spread the propaganda. She's comrade D and Jackson Miller. Why we can't understand that?
You know why I'm saying that? Many times she invite Dennis Chung, right? Who is a chartered accountant. Him don't speak like how she come out and spread an attack. When even Keith Duncan, when him come on interview, him don't speak like how she attack. He just the only person who is speaking like that is Ralston Hyman and him is not credible.
But that is it. And that's why you see
Yeah.
the
We have
TVJ
Rasta
group sell
we
down
bring Rasta
people like those.
on your program. We never bring a Damian King alongside Ralston Iman. You follow what I'm saying? Bring two
Yeah,
of
but
them.
them not
You can't
invite the
use one.
people them regular who are going to speak common sense. Then I invite the people them who are going to talk common sense, you know. Because their mission is not for the people to hear say, this is going good, that is going, and this is how it can go. They don't want that. They want to spread fear. It's a fear-mongering kind of thing. They want to spread disenchantment.
And confusion. Confusion. Confusion.
They're part of the the PMP political campaign, you know. Remember, say them very chairman is Mark Golding's best friend. So we have to understand the standpoint from which they come. And that's why we on here have to have these kind of conversation on this platform. Because there are people who pop up to listen to what we have to say. And so then we hear a little truth. Don't expect truth from RGR, TVJ out of Glina.
It's the one just come off of one, but it must build up a platform. But me I try say admin, say can't add me based on where I'm doing, which make me know it's really true.
Who that?
I can't remember his name, man.
Ingram?
And,
I know Ingram.
No, man, Ingram. That guy, him come with one math song, but plus and divide and subtraction. And I don't know if you ever see him on TikTok. But me probably know me at all. Me tell him to add me, him say him couldn't add me, which me believe, right? When me add up the number with the same pro boxing when I talk about, and I send him must say never me say so, you know. I like a favor and them come on truth with it. Then say, here are people, hear the truth now. You never play. Dean Jackson made an interview with Favor Williams. You see what me I say? He might play something and him saying good with numbers. I believe saying good with numbers too. You understand? But him just spread propaganda.
That's it. And if you understand, say, the audience is there for it, especially now. And the soil is fertile for that kind of discussion, especially now. And that's why these government MPs and ministers, when they go, if you go chat, hold your mouth. Stop make these PMP journalists tie you up in a corner. You don't need to understand the political landscape. You know in politics at least 1 or 2 terms now if you understand how the politics go.
And listen, it's when Julian will come out with the facts, say the government will tell lies, say them now borrow money. Let me explain how it works. The first line for the financial sector, or the financial industry, it has to be BOJ, setting policy rate and treasury bill rate. Right? The reason why the government borrowing is really to set the rate that is in the industry. When we put it in a better perspective. You see, the policy rate is set by BOJ. Then the banks them set them rate. So the banks
explain what is the policy rate, sir, because we have people
the BOJ policy rate, I think it's at 6% now, right? And it normally ties back to almost inflation or something like that. Because so them know the policy rate. Because when inflation goes up, the rate changes, whether treasury bill rate or the BOJ policy rate. Right now it's at 6% and it's gonna go down. Oh, that's
the money. That's the money on which they pay interest.
Yes. You see, when it goes down, the bank's supposed to follow suit on lower interest rate, which they are not doing quite so. I'm kind of
those are the commercial banks.
Commercial banks, credit unions, building society, all of those that give loans. You understand? And also some of those, they call it those loan places as well. Because what normally happens is that when the government set the policy rate, the banks also go a bit higher. Because sometimes the bank even borrow money. That raise capital, then put out a bond. We see NCB do it, we see JMB do it, we see all of them put out bond because they want to raise it, because they want to do an acquisition and so forth. So what they have to do is offer higher interest than the BOJ policy rate, because if you don't put a higher rate, everybody want to take them money and go give the government, and you now get that investment. So you have to come with something more attractive than the policy rate. So the BOJ is the one that sets what happens in the financial institutions when it come on to interest rate. That's why the government have to go and say they are going to borrow. The only way them can set those rates unless them are borrow. Because you cannot set rates. So where you set rate again? So because you want to borrow? You understand me? So, but there's another thing that I respect this government for. Gone are the days when the government, if you borrow money, if you pay public wages, the government really has to do that, you know. Look how much revenue, tax revenues the government that collect what can pay workers. I must give credit to the government for doing that.
And tell us how they were able to do that.
All right. You see the AI, you see? There are many ways how they did it, and that's some respect the Jamaica Labour Party. One of the things that came with, remember when you had the junior stock exchange? I mean, I said that's everything start from. When you had the junior stock exchange, you know, say more people are going to employ, because you're going to expand. You get more money, you get more, what you call it, PAYE taxes, right? You find that Grace Kennedy expanding, separate, all of those expanding. So we're employing more people, right? And they're going through the payroll system. They're going to pay far more taxes, right? More money starts spending on the economy. Mommy, you can't walk in the people that me walk, so. No, a people you that. Go up on the sidewalk. Just move on. One of my mother walking a small yard. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Mother and my brother live same place. Brother, me are twin guys.
Oh,
my brother named Genuine One. Sometimes I see him. Hold on. My mother want to talk to me.
all right. So we
Oh, okay.
Guys, yeah, he's a twin, and you know they used to have their real name on social media with their picture, and the PMP started to attack them and took down their picture and was spreading all sorts of propaganda about them.
Until lies.
Yeah,
Until lies.
lies, yeah.
So that's
So
why
they
I
had to
changed.
change their names and take down their pictures and all of that. You know, when you work in a government, you have to conceal certain things.
So, Dominic, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Regarding the government lowering the base rate after COVID and the banks not following suit and making money hand over fist.
All right, let me tell you what. Let me tell you.
Wait, the question not finished yet. Hold on. The question not finished.
Yeah.
And the PNP, because I did catch that part of their budget, say that they're willing to negotiate with the banks. You know, because they can't just, that was respect the fees. So just the original question then. What do you think the government must do since the bank's not playing fair with the interest rates?
All right. Let me explain something what I know about the banks. And I make a point in it too. My mother said me I talk loud and she can't hear me way down the other part of the scheme. Oh God. But I prefer everybody hear my conversation here, sir. That's some mistake. Anyhow, first me I talk about politics. Let me explain how it works with those banks. And it's because a lot of them, when interest rate was going up, right? They had issues, they weren't making enough money. So they might try to build back them capital before them reduce interest rates. Right? Because it is kind of risky to just go and reduce interest rates. So basically them capital them want to build up. Make sure them have enough capital before them lower the interest rate. So BOJ want interest rate to drop and it can drop, yes. But if you're going to drop interest rate down, remember them have additional costs, you know. The banks have costs there, you know. If you drop interest rate, they may not make enough money to even cover some of their costs. They have to build up enough capital, they have enough capital that them can push out and give more loans in order to capitalize and lower the interest rate. And sometimes it take up to maybe 2 years before them develop enough capital. Because them have a capital adequacy thing when them have to pass it, BOJ too, you know, and also with the FSC, you know. And if you fail that, you may be in problem. Let me give you another analogy. I remember 1 year. Remember the year when NCB made $39 billion in profit, roughly $40 billion. Anybody remember that year? No, I think that was in 2022 or 2023, right? And you can check them website. Just put in the year when NCB made $40 billion in profit. And you pull along the financial statement. And I can tell you how you can walk through it. They made $40 billion in profit. That is net profit. But there's a thing you call fair value through OCI that go through your other comprehensive income. When they added that to the $48 billion, they had a negative other comprehensive income calculation on the bottom are negative $7 billion. The $40 billion net profit, but you have something you call fair value through OCI. That means you go through your other comprehensive income. Bond prices fell. That caused fair value to also go in the negatives. Because if you were to sell those bonds, say no, let's say them fall, you were to sell them now, and you buy them at say 120 for one, and then you fall to say 99. You're gonna lose $21 on it. You understand me? So them couldn't sell it. You might tell it go back. If people were complaining that why NCB not pay a dividend, when you pay a dividend, it have to go back to your capital. And they have a capital adequacy ratio, which they have to fulfill with BOJ and some aspect with FSC. If they had paid that dividend, them equity would have fall tremendously, and them probably would have failed the BOJ test, the capital adequacy test. So not every time you see a company make profits, you're supposed to be calling on, say you want dividend, because you have a thing you call fair value through OCI. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So in enough time, you can go pull on the NCB, put in the year, and you're going to see what me at that. Just go to the part that says other OCI, other comprehensive income, and you will see $7 billion in negative. You understand me? So sometimes you have to know to read the financial statements to know what is really happening. Some banks now are just recovering, you know. So they have to get time to build up at them capital before them can decide to lower the interest rate a bit. And that's what is really happening. Yeah, banks can do it, and some now can do it immediately.
Alright, I'll stop considering them greedy for now. You buy them sometime.
But also, if them implement a software and then spend billions, they might want back them money. That's how them do it too. You understand? I just saw. But we have choices, you know. But some people don't want to go to that, don't want to leave NCB and the BNS. Them still want to stick there because you have credit union offer lower rates. You have building society offer lower rates. So I think the market should decide and not politician decide, because you may just disrupt the market and make it even worse.
Alright, you convinced me, sir. You convinced me.
All right, Dominant. So when you look at the ease program that the opposition has come in, you would want to get some numbers out of that too. I hear there's a figure out of some $43 billion. Have you heard that?
I don't hear it. I'd love to see it, and I'd love to know what they're going to put it in and quantify it, because I can see something. JPS come out with something the other day, right? And JPS say we have to be careful when we're talking about renewable. And I know what time, because I watch those news. It's sometimes you put in solar is best for housing and certain things, unless you have a large scale. But sometimes when you go large scale and sell back to the grid, the maintenance of those big battery to store energies and so forth can be costly.
Yes.
Very, very costly. So you have to mix it with LNG. And you have next one you call CNG, you know, when we see the buses them use. You understand me? You have to mix it. You can't just say you go renewable alone. Because to store it with those batteries may cost a lot of money, and it's very costly to maintain. I think there's a solar company that kind of went bankrupt. I don't remember the name of it. I told my mind not here now. So it is a good idea, but you basically have to diversify, because if something goes wrong and you can't store energy with solar, it's good for housing. That's what I think it is for. Really.
I think you missed my question though. I was referring to the 1 meal per child program.
But listen, 1 meal per child, that is currently happening at a lot of schools. You have the PART program. I use the word needy too. But some people have pride and I want to go on the PART program. You follow what me I said to you? Some people are proud and up on the part program. My son gonna go at primary. I see him come home with some porridge thing from a national product. I don't National Products Limited. So they are doing some stuff like that in the schools already. Mark you can make it bigger, of course. But we don't know what Andrew wants to come this when.
So are we going back to the days when we have Nutribun and milk powder in school?
Well, me tell you, I'm seeing my son with, I'm seeing him carry two.
Is that what he's proposing?
But who cut out that program? Because when I was in basic school in the 80s, I used to get porridge in school in the morning.
And they closed it down for a while. I don't remember why then they closed it down. They closed it down for a while. But I think it come up back right now. But we said them I get porridge. We said I get some.
I used to get porridge.
You could not finance it because Siaga start not in a school. A matter of fact, it start from the bus stop, but Siaga continue. The PMP could not finance it.
Yeah, because I think some corruption they go on there with some people that chuck out the stuff them and
people sell all the thing them. All Nutribun used to sell and then something. Yeah. So then corrupted the system and couldn't finance it.
That caused it and then failed. But them try bring it in back.
All them are doing again is the bull and them a ring. Because when they mention these things, a lot of people say, yes, that used to go on. The difference is that it now have the name there no more. You see, the PMP know what them are doing now. They're smart at politics. They are smart at politics.
Remember, Dana Dixie come out and say the same thing when he must say, you know.
Yeah, just a week ago or 2 weeks ago she said it.
Before he did said it.
Yeah, before she said it before them mention it. She said it a week before Julian mentioned him argument.
So I think there is very little ideological, things to argue over these days. Is it not true that we are structured as a country? Our economy has to meet certain benchmark, and the government has basically is pursuing a pathway that I don't think the opposition has an answer to.
The difference is, look at it this way, Jamaica is a small place. Even the madman on the street know the problems that Jamaica has. And if you stop a madman on the street and ask him for a solution, he's going to give you a solution that makes sense. The difference is, for many years, the JLP stayed away from the public discourse on any issue in the country. Yes. The moment the JLP has now joined the public discourse, the PMP has become irrelevant because the public discourse, it seems, did not appeal to the JLP because they deemed those discussions to be in the gutter until they realize that it is in the gutter that you will have to go to lift the man out of the gutter till him come up on the top of the gutter. The PMP have always stayed in the gutter with the gutter discussion, and so they were relevant for that period. But there is no problem in Jamaica where the regular man don't know. And there's no issue that we can identify that me and you don't have a solution to. It is the same Jamaica with the same problems, and we all know the solutions that we need. So the difference is the JLP is now outstripping the PMP with the solutions, and that is where the problems are for the PMP. That's it.
And therefore the response, because irrespective of what you do, you still will have to try to appeal to people to vote for you. What is it that they can come with? It is sentimental. Is it emotions? Because so far, all that I've heard, there is already an answer for it. It's already something that is happening.
From the PMP, it is primarily emotion. And one of the things beating the PMP is that Jamaica has become more educated because the people, the demographic that the PMP used to appeal to, they have transformed so quickly in 9 years that it is even baffling the PMP because they used to appeal to the lumpens, the people who can barely figure out 1 + 1 or 2 + 2. And I mean, I say that in a bad way, but it's just a situation where PMP have lost ground because the people they once appealed to really don't exist no more. And it's a reality that they will have to face right now.
Explore that a little bit. Explore that a little bit. Protecting. Are you suggesting that the development of Jamaica has been holistic enough, where many of our people have been brought into mainstream through the expansion of social media? The digital landscape has changed. There is now access to information, and therefore you have to recraft your politics in such a way that you appeal to these people. But are you saying to me that the PNP does not recognize this and are still looking to, a style that would have the appeal to the people in the 90s, but not in 21st century Jamaica?
Let me respond to you this way. The PNP are learning in real time that even the voting bloc that they used to depend on to trick, fool, tell any old foolishness have moved away from them. They have grown them out. They are experiencing that. They are realizing that in real time. That demographic that the PNP used to just dress up a goat in an orange and them accept don't exist no more. And if there is a small amount of those PNP that are left, it is not enough to take them over the line as they seek political power. Remember, the PNP now has to be pondering to the 75 and older, the people who, when they wake up this morning, they must pray about half day before they make a decision if they want to get up out of bed. When you have that kind of scenario, they reach the PNP, means they're almost dead. And then the younger demographic, who many of them came of age within the past 10 years of the JLP, they will no longer look at the PNP, especially I'm hoping that the government will roll out a